So how was trick-or-treating? You guys have fun?
Good God, teenagers, man. Yeah, I had a fun time, but good God.
God, teenagers.
It's like, whoa. You know? I ended up with 6 kids by myself for a while.
Jeez.
But anyways, that movie was awesome. Right?
It really was. I was like, oh, this fucking rules.
Yeah, I wrote down it was like an Indonesian Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah.
So, you know, because it was very Evil Dead-ish, you know?
Yeah, that's a good way to... Why did I want to say the word summarize? That's not the word I'm looking
Just say
for.
put it. We don't always have to sound smart. Wait, what do I mean? We don't always sound smart. Do we ever sound smart? I just remember that it was you, I think, in the last one where you're like, wait, what was I talking about? Oh, God, it's like a long time of you being like, what the fuck? So I'm like, okay, I'll take this.
Thanks.
But there's ones like that for me, too. Yeah. Yeah, I try to make us sound the least dumb I can, which, you know, it's a struggle. But it works.
I will say, though, that none of this is scripted or anything.
No.
But for somehow we're still able to bring it back around, which I'm super impressed by.
Well, it's because we know each other well.
That's true.
And we have a good chemistry and rapport, whatever. I think that's how you say it. And
that's the one.
And I think, you know, it just works that way. Because a lot of podcasts, I don't think have the, I don't know, we just got it. Yeah, panache. That's a good word.
Yeah.
We got it, kid. So this is by far the most recent movie we've watched.
Yeah, and I almost watched the newer one, but thankfully you...
The sequel?
Yeah, because in my head, when you told me what the name of it was, I didn't realize, because I'd never heard of it, so I didn't realize there was a sequel. I thought that was the one I was supposed to watch, so I watched a trailer for that first, and I went, this looks fucking great. And then I was kind of just looking around some more in the interwebs about it, and I went, wait, you mean the 2018? Oh. Wait, there's another one? Oops.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if I watched that one and we got on here?
Yeah, it'd be so confusing.
What's going on?
Then, yeah, it's like, and I guess he's worked on a part 3.
Oh, sweet. I mean, I definitely want to watch the second one.
Oh, I definitely do, too. Well, yeah, I'm glad you watched the right one. And, so have you ever watched a movie from Indonesia before that you know of?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of one, which really piqued my interest in watching this one because, and I know we had talked about this in the beginning of, that we watch a lot of American-based movies, but we both love foreign horror films, and I would like to explore more into that of like, you know, I watch a lot of Japanese ones, Korean ones, you know, French and things like that, Italian horror. I was just really interested in seeing what other cultures, how they portray genres that we know of. And this one is what? This one is about the devil and selling your soul to the devil.
Yeah, selling your soul to the devil, making a pact with demons, all that kind of stuff. And you're right, seeing what other cultures do, because like this looks really, really good, and it's a high budget. You know, Netflix ended up distributing it, but he made it in Indonesia, and you know, so you see a movie this good that wasn't made in Hollywood, and it's not in English, and nobody that speaks English is in it, at least not as their first language. And it's kind of like you see a movie that looks this great, not from here, connected to us at all, and it's like. Just makes me realize, like, man, the world of movies is very, very, very big, and there's always new things to get into, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried to pronounce the director's Name. It's Timo
I think it's
Tjahjanto.
Tjahjanto. I think it's Tjahjanto.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I follow him on Twitter. And the thing about him, so I knew about him because I've mentioned Outlaw Vern before. This film guy that writes about film a lot, and he's he knows a lot about action. So I always find out about new action movies from him. So the same year this came out, Timo put out an action film called.
You cut out, Timmy. You cut out completely.
Can you hear me now? Hey, can you hear me now?
I hear you now. I don't know what happened. It's always fucking something.
But why? That's the thing.
don't
Why?
know.
You know, it's like, okay, that chainsaw I bought, right? For the toy chainsaw I bought. I open it and the blade didn't work. And I'm just like,
What?
fucking why? Yeah,
What?
well, it worked. It worked, but it doesn't spin. It didn't spin around the way it's supposed to. So me and my friend Lee took it apart. Like, you're not supposed to. It's like a manufactured toy, basically. We took it apart. And we monkeyed with everything, and it's like manufactured poorly. And so we actually hooked a copper wire to it to pull the blade. Because the thing is, when you take it apart, it works. Like when you take it out of its housing. And so something, when it gets strapped into the housing, pushes on the blade so it doesn't work. So we tied like a wire to it to pull it so it works better, but it's just a pain in the ass. And I'm just like, well, fucking why? You know, like, why does that happen? And why do I get a canker sore on my tongue right before I've taken days off? You know what I mean? Just like, it's like, what fucking karmic problem is there with me? I think I'm generally a good dude. Unless I was fucking Hitler in a past life or something, I don't understand. You know?
That's how I felt yesterday. I got up. I was like, I'm going to go to Houdini's grave and bring my little pumpkin that I always bring. I wasn't going to walk to the cemetery to get there because it takes too long. I went to the train. Of course, it didn't stop at the stop I needed to go to, so I still had to end up walking a shit ton. It was hot as fuck, Timmy. I mean, like, the sun was so hot and there was no shade. So by the time I got there, I probably had some heat exhaustion and I was getting lightheaded. I had water. I had a smoothie with me, thank God, because it was frozen and that helped me cool down. But I had to like sit down on a grave because I thought I was going to pass out. And then I get over there and there's another guy that puts a little pumpkin.
Is it a jack-o'-lantern or what? You just setting a little pumpkin or what?
You know the teeny tiny miniature pumpkins you can get?
Yeah, like a little gourd.
Yeah. So I always bring one every year, and there's always one there already when I get there, and it has Houdini's birth and death written on it. But I'd never met the guy, and I finally meet the guy, but I'm too hot to hang. I would have hung out with him, but I was too hot. Then on the walk back, there was a metal thing sticking out of the concrete. I fucking scraped my right foot on it.
Jeez.
So I'm hot. My foot hurts. I walk through the cemetery on the way home. No shade. Because I was like, oh, there'll be shade in the cemetery. No shade. I get home. I lay down because I'm so hot and exhausted that I didn't get anything done.
Oh, man.
And then I get up, take a shower, put on my makeup, get ready for trick-or-treaters. I sit out there, and then I realize I'm an idiot. Kids in the neighborhood here go to the businesses. They don't trick-or-treat at the houses.
Oh, man.
So I spent all this money on all this candy and all this other shit. I had 4 trick-or-treaters in 2 hours. I was like, man, this day is a bust. I'm going to go get pizza and beer. Go to the pizza place. They're closed.
Oh, God.
Why the fuck are they closed on a goddamn Thursday?
On Halloween.
No shit. So
it's like people eat pizza on Halloween so that they can just eat and then go do stuff.
So it was just like one fucking thing after another. And I was like, and my face is all fucked up because the cat bit me in the face.
Oh, right. Yeah,
so
you
it's
showed
like,
me that.
I have heat exhaustion. My face looks like shit. My body feels like shit. My fucking foot hurts. I'm like, I hate everything.
Yeah, it sucks. And I had similar things. Like I said, my chainsaw didn't work. So yesterday, the copper wire that we had that I was using to fix it, right? So I have more kids with me than I planned. We're driving around town, going trick or treating. Okay, fine. It's kind of cold out, but everything's going okay. And then towards the end of the night, I get in the van. And I brought my leather face mask and my chainsaw with me so I could scare little kids, which I did. Like one little boy looked at me, and I just looked back at him and revved it, And it's like, oh boy, he turned away, and I heard him saying something to his mom. I'm like, oh. Anyways,
no.
He's like, that guy's crazy. But anyway, so towards the end of the trick or treating night, we get in the car, and I reach to get something and cut my finger on, I think, the copper wire. There's a little sharp piece of it sticking out, right? And I feel but I didn't really notice at time. I just felt it was scratchy. It's dark in my car. There's 6 kids in there, 2 tweens and 4 teens, just so it's loud as fuck. And, I didn't really notice that my hand started feeling sticky. I'm like, what? So when we finally got home, I'm like, I'm bleeding pretty good from this cut. Oh my God. Like, that's weird. So I go into the bathroom and I wash the cut off, right? It's in a perfect triangle.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, and by that time, most of Margaret's friends had gone home except her and her friend Greta, who's the one that came to the haunted house with us and stuff. And, so they like horror movies and witchcraft stuff. I'm like, I showed them and I'm like, this is like the wrong day to get a geometric symbol scratched into your flesh,
Is it the point side up or down?
I don't remember. I think it was down.
Down.
Is that bad?
I have that tattooed on me, by the way. That way.
What the fuck?
It's a water symbol.
Okay. Well,
so I think you're okay.
Know. I hope so, but
or
also
you're gonna drown.
What the fuck? Well, yeah, I've had a good run. But
creepy though.
It is creepy, right? Like what the hell? And it's like when you get those strings of bad luck and weird shit happening. It's like, what did I do?
Why is life like this?
Yeah, what did I do? And it's like, I don't know, maybe there was a time that I can't remember when I cut off a piece of my daughter's hair, went down to the basement, summoned a demon witch, and had her eat it so that I could be rich. But I don't think I've done that.
Maybe it's time to start. Maybe it'll fix all your problems. You just have a debt that's due.
Okay, well, see, that's a part of the movie we don't see, though, is how does he meet this lady in the first place, unfortunately. But that was my somewhat attempt to transition and talk about the movie. But
well, she does find all of the books and stuff that he had, right?
Oh, yeah, so he was,
he's
reading
been,
about it.
Trying to figure out how to conjure and get her.
Yeah. Well, should we say the movie? should we talk about it?
Funny if we just figure out what movie we're talking about.
Yeah. Fucking Google it.
Write
idiots.
it in the comments. What movie you think we're talking about.
Do we have to do everything for you? Oh my God. Okay. We're doing good news for, I haven't seen people say it, but I know that there's listeners, especially, maybe Whitest Kids fans is what I'm thinking of, but younger listeners in their 20s maybe, that hear me and Shandi talk about a movie from the 80s and then the 90s and then the 60s and then the 80s and then the 70s. And it's like, good God, when are you going to watch a newer movie? Well, good news. We watched a movie from 2018. That's the movie we're talking about, but it's Indonesian, so you're probably still mad about it. So, we didn't watch one of the 10 horror movies America makes that we want to watch, So, anyways, we did watch and are talking about May the Devil Take You. It's from 2018. You could actually watch it on Netflix, and it was directed by. Well, let's just preface this. We're going to be talking about Indonesian people today, and Shandi and I are both extremely fucking white. And so you're not going to hear them pronounced correctly. So Timo Tjahjanto, if you are listening, sorry.
Tjahjanto.
But this movie was really good. Tjahjanto, is that what you said?
I think
That's
so.
That's what I said, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I kept, you can just Google how to pronounce stuff.
Yeah.
So I put it in there and listened to it a few times. I think it's the TJ is like a Tjahjanto.
Okay,
I think.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a few names in this that are kind of tough to pronounce, but I have found Indonesian names not super difficult. Have you ever watched a movie from Thailand though?
Probably not.
Because okay, so about 2003, 4, 5, something like that. There was a movie that came out called Ong Bak. It was a martial arts film from Thailand, starring this guy Tony Jaa. Tony went on to be huge, and it was kind of the first time for a lot of people seeing a movie from Thailand. Their names are like 15 letters on average. A lot of consonants, like the guy that wrote and directed that film, Pana Pitacrayu. It's crazy.
That's such a cool name, though.
Yeah, no, it's great. No, it's awesome, and their language is like really fast. And there's tons and tons of syllables, so it sounds cool too. But translating, like writing the names in English, is like it's really really long, So it's not a problem for them the way they speak, but in that language, but it's a problem for us reading. But anyway, so Indonesian does not have this problem, and Timo Tjahjanto I had heard of before. Because Outlaw Vern, the guy that writes about film that I like, and I've probably mentioned before, he really knows a lot about action. And so a couple years ago, or actually in 2018, he wrote about this movie called The Night Comes for Us. And that is an action movie directed by the guy who directed this movie, Timo Tjahjanto. And it's also, dude, okay, so this movie, Devil May Take You, it's not super gory, right? Would you say?
There were some moments that I went,
yeah, that's true.
But
yeah,
it's
I said
not,
that, and then I'm like,
no, but I wouldn't say it's like up there on the gore factor.
Right. Okay. But there's a couple crazy moments.
Yeah, I would say it's more on the like, what the fuck?
Yeah, totally. So his action movie, which came out the same year, I think he shot it before he shot Devil May Take You, but anyways, he made them both around the same time. So the action movie that came out must have been part of the same deal, because that went straight to Netflix as well. It's called The Night Comes for Us, and it's an action movie, really amazing martial arts. What I like for a good martial arts film is not a lot of cutting, a wider shot so you can see the people's bodies moving around, and well choreographed. So it's like that. But it is also the bloodiest action movie I've ever seen in my life. It is fucking insane. So much blood. And you see a guy get a meat hook in the taint. You see a woman get a piano wire across her hands. And she doesn't even notice till later that it severed her finger. So she just pulls off her fingertips, and so much blood and so much stabbing. And so I was thinking this movie...
He held himself back for this one then.
Maybe, yeah.
Jesus.
So, this isn't the first Indonesian horror film, but I think Indonesia got back on everybody else's radar when the movie The Raid came out.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's one of my favorite films of all time.
Okay, so you have seen an Indonesian movie then.
Okay.
So, there you go. I think sometimes people get turned off of watching something from a different country because it's because it's foreign. And some people don't like reading subtitles. But also I feel like people think it's not going to be like a kind of movie they're used to,
I guess. I mean, I always watch subtitles anyways. It doesn't matter what it is. If they're speaking English, I still look at the subtitles because it just helps me process.
Oh, sure.
What I'm
a lot of
seeing.
people have them on the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter what. Well, I know you aren't. I know you're cool about it. You and I went and saw Pan's Labyrinth together when it came out. We were the only people in the theater, weren't we?
I think there was a couple people.
Or was it the orphanage? We saw that, I think we also saw The Orphanage together, maybe. And which is another Spanish horror movie. But anyways, but yeah. But so I know you're fine with it. But I mean, people in general, let's say, I don't know, people in South Dakota, for example. So they'd be avoiding stuff like this. Because they're it probably seems weird to them. Not only do they not like to read subtitles, it probably seems like a strange kind of thing. But so May the Devil Take You, I think it feels like an American horror film, just in Indonesian. You know what I mean?
It does feel that way. And for personally me, why I enjoy foreign films is because I don't travel that often. Right. So it's nice to be taken into another person's culture and see their land, how they go about things, and just what they're all about. That's why I like foreign films.
Yeah, no, I agree. And what's cool about The Devil... God, how am I going to say this right? What's cool about May the Devil Take You is like... Okay, so yeah, like we meant, like Shandy said a little bit ago, or one of us said, I already forgot. Anyways, so it's about somebody who a guy summons he makes a deal with a demon or the devil, or it seems to be the devil, right? Is kind of what they're saying.
He summons one of the devil's concubines.
Right. A witch.
Yeah, who looks awesome.
Yeah, she really does.
Yeah, because he wants to. Did you really like? I really liked how they basically told the story of the dad, whose name was Lesmana. Yeah. They told the story of Lesmana's, how he was an entrepreneur, all through the kind of the opening credits of the movie. After we see his pact with the concubine,
he makes a pact with the devil, and it has a great shot of him like hugging the suitcase that now magically has a bunch of money in it.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to those credits you're talking about.
Yeah, which is all newspaper clippings. I really thought that was a really neat way to kind of quickly give us a plot about what we just saw, where it's like he's an entrepreneur, and now all of a sudden he's become really successful, and then he's gone bankrupt, and then we continue to the story. But I thought that was a really, really smart and fun way to go about that.
Yeah. And, it's cool because, you start a movie, like the very first scene is him making a pact with the devil, whatever, right? So you're going to assume that it's not going to go well, right?
Right.
So instead of making the whole movie about that not going well, Timo he's like, we're just going to put this in the credits, and we're going to continue the story from there, because that's what you don't always see, is like, what else is going on, right? Of course the guy's pact goes wrong. What else is going to happen? So that's what I loved about the credits, is they're just like, okay, here's all the stuff you kind of figured would happen. He gets really rich, but then his wife kills himself, and he goes bankrupt, then he marries another lady, so... And so then it starts with him like dying in a hospital. You're like, what? So I thought that was great. And he's got those gross things on his face.
And his, I guess, stepchildren.
Yeah.
So his firstborn,
Alfie,
and also what a great name. She's the only one that doesn't get disgusted by the smell that's apparently coming off of him. And the other children are like gagging, like, get me out of here. He fucking reeks. I said, that's such a subtle way of kind of, maybe his smell is like what hell smells like.
Yeah.
And
the smell of evil.
Yes, thank you. The smell of evil.
Which I think is the subtitle of the third Naked Gun movie. No, whoa, that's called the smell. That was the second one, Smell of Fear. Different, anyways. So.
Also, those movies are awesome.
Hell yeah, they are. I just watched the original Creepshow last night, and Leslie Nielsen's villain turn he's such a good villain in that. He's such a piece of shit.
Why is he just one of the funniest dudes? Like, I just picture his face and it makes me laugh.
He's great. And, he was a serious actor for like 30 years before the Zucker brothers figured it out, and put him in Airplane. But yeah, then he turned that into a great villain turn in Creepshow. And, it was maybe around the time before he was even known for comedy. I don't know. Anyways, but Naked Gun, wow, that's a weird way to get off subject. But yeah, so she clearly, she feels more empathy towards her dad than these other kids do, even though she says she hasn't seen him in like 10 years, right?
Yeah, and I like that they made the point of being like, your biological daughter's here. Like you're the outcast of the rest of us.
Because in his new family, so what it says in the newspapers is his in the credits, his wife, he has a kid with his wife. She dies. It says she commits suicide. And then he remarries, and it says there that he has a kid with that lady, but that lady also had 2 other kids. So there's this original biological daughter, Alfie, and then there's a brother and sister who are around her age, and then a young kid who's also a biological daughter, Nara, right?
You know what? And I was writing all of this down. Yes, Nara, and then there's Maya and Ruben.
Yeah. See, short names. Wait till we watch something from Thailand sometime. Anyways, yeah. Well, like in The Raid, for example, going back to that for a second, like every main character's name is only 4 letters, and it actually gets confusing because there's Rama, Tama, Jaka, Boko. It's like, okay, can we get like 5 letters for someone in here? But anyways, but I love his short names, obviously. But so Nara, the young girl, and Alfie, who's clearly at this point already going to be the main character, they're his only blood children. Blood children.
Or, as we kind of find out, firstborns, which becomes very important.
So Nara's also the firstborn out of that marriage.
Yeah. So, and that's it kind of brings it back around to the biblical aspect of it, of the coming to get your firstborns. As that's the debt that he has to pay, is the devil gets his firstborn.
And they don't really clearly say that in the beginning. You just kind of start to figure it out.
I kind of figured that out towards the end, which I was like,
yeah,
I appreciated that. We kind of have this like weird buildup of what everything means and why this is happening to these people.
Yeah. And it really explains it really well. Like the 3 marks on her arm, when you finally find out what that is, that's great. The way they do that, because they make you wait a long time.
Oh, yeah. That was the first thing I wrote down when you see it.
Oh, yeah?
Well, actually, no. The first thing I wrote down was, whoa, she ate the hair and then made him eat it.
The first thing I wrote down was creepy jazz music knows no language barrier. Because, when they use an old-timey jazz song to creepy effect, which they do in modern horror movies in America all the time. Well, then here's one that starts with "It May the Devil Take You," and it starts with it, and it's in Indonesian. The singing is too, but it's like one of those old-timey sounded jazz songs, but it's like from a different country, And you said another word that kind of made me think of this too is biblical. Well, when you think about these making a pact with the devil and possession movies in America, it's always tied to Christianity. And they never really outright say anything about the religion in this movie, but like it's Indonesia where, there's Buddhism and maybe Hindi. I don't know. There's other things, obviously Christianity's there too, but there's other ones. And so like it's just awesome to see the same... It's awesome to see the stuff you see in a horror movie that you've seen a lot, but being done through a completely different filter because it's from Indonesia, right? So, like, the voodoo is a little different in this. The weird little rituals and stuff are a little different than when you see this kind of stuff in a movie in America, right?
Yeah, it's their take on it, which pretty much every religion has good and evil, right?
Yeah.
Good or bad, devil, right. God.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But yeah,
the hair eating you were talking about, and
the hair eating.
I've had long hair for like 5-6 years straight now, and I know you've had long hair on and off throughout your life, but dude, and like cooking, and like you don't have your hair back, and then like my daughter will be eating whatever I made. Here's a hair. Oh, sorry.
I don't know why, but it makes me feel so icky when I find hair on my food. Like I don't. It makes me not want to eat.
It's gross. And what I don't like
even
also
if it's
is when
mine.
like you like it's fine, but like it's still weird. And the hair gets in. Even the hair on your head can just so peaceful if when you have long hair just swings into your mouth. Or like I won't notice a little piece of hair. I'll be eating something, right? And I won't notice a piece of the hair currently on my head kind of catches on, and so I start chewing, and I feel like part of it's my hair. You ever had that? Sure.
Ew.
It's so gross. And so I wrote down, I fucking hate getting hair in my mouth. I guess I couldn't be an Indonesian exorcist. Because at that point in the film, I thought she was an exorcist. I thought he brought that witch into his basement to get rid of something. And then she's burning the money and everything. You're like, what? And I didn't understand completely what happened until he turns around and his suitcase is magically full of money and he hugs it. I was like,
right.
It's
the
devil.
Yeah, I was going, all right. So she asks him, have you brought me what I asked for?
Yeah.
And he gives her hair and she smells it. And the way she smells it, I went, that's probably human hair. I wonder what human it's from. And then she
was smelling to make sure it was tasty.
Eats it.
Yeah.
I went, whoa. And then the way she makes him eat it.
Yeah.
It's like sticking her whole fingers down his fucking mouth.
Oh, God.
I said, this is probably evil.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Be like, yeah, it's probably evil. But also, I wasn't sure because, again, of the cultural thing. I'm like, well, maybe there's something else.
Yeah, you never know.
But because of the cultural thing, too, I can say pretty securely that I don't think I've ever seen hair eating in a horror movie, but in any movie before, right?
No,
I don't think
mean, you see a lot of things. You mentioned voodoo. You see a lot of hair being used for voodoo dolls.
Right.
You see hair being used in rituals, grab their hair, put in a bowl with blood and feathers and things and light it on fire. But I never seen
swallow
that. So that's what I kind of, another movie we've watched where within the first few minutes, I'm already hooked. Because of like what's happening.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I'm on board because I don't know what you're gonna do, dude.
Right.
So I want to watch all this. Yeah. But then right there's another but so you have this unfamiliar thing happen, the hair eating, which to you and I was very unfamiliar, right?
Right.
But then right in there at the same time in this scene, there is a familiar symbol, mainly due to another recent horror movie called The Witch. Because you know what I'm talking about, right? The black goat head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about the correlation between the two.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're here, Timmy. That's why you're here.
Well, we think about different things. If we were both saying the same shit all the time, it wouldn't be good.
Be so
anyways, see, it's cool that our brains are broken in different ways. So. But so I wrote down Black Phillip is a universal icon of evil, right? Because it's like, and it's not, just to be clear, this isn't related to the movie The Witch at all, but it's just there's a black goat head. It's crazy.
This guy knew what his debt was going to be, and he went through with it fucking anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells you a lot about this guy.
Yeah, and also, so like you mentioned, he has all these books that he has read. They find later, like, clearly the guy did his research and found a witch or whatever, made a pact with the devil to be successful, and then thought he could just fucking scam him? It's like, I'm sorry, this isn't an elderly widow, it's the devil. Like, you can't just fucking con him.
I think we find in a lot of movies when people make a deal with the devil that they either end up not wanting to pay back their debt because of what the debt is, or they're just continuing to be a shitty person and they just don't want to pay their debt back. You know?
You're right. Yeah, that's a good point. Because in general, someone who's at a point in their life where they're like, I think I'll make a deal with the devil. Well, they're probably not great. And actually that was another point of conversation I wanted to have about this is that I wrote down. Is okay because I've never been rich, and even making the TV show, we weren't super rich, right? We made that for love, not for money, and I think that's why people still like it and why people still like us. But anyways, so I've never had a lot of money. When I lived in New York, there were many times where I was really fucking broke, and I would fantasize about how to make money, right? And one thing I kept going back to, I never did this, and I know it wouldn't work in real life, but one thing I kept going back to was like, I should just go wander around the city, meeting people until I meet someone who's connected to the mafia, and then just try to get in on as a lower level errand boy, and then work my way up and make money. Is that a good plan?
You mean you could just do the same thing at any job, at any company, and work your way up to a higher position with a higher pay?
Yeah.
But you wanted to be in the mafia.
Well, but I just thought maybe yes, you're right. But I think in my mind, the scale starts so much bigger.
Okay.
Right? Like the base pay is going to be bigger for an errand boy for the mob, than if I just managed a McDonald's. Or not even managed. I'd start as a fry cook and then eventually manage. But,
because it's more exciting.
I don't know, maybe. Well, and because I had a friend who said he used to do stuff for the mob, a little bit until he realized he used to run errands for a guy that owned a store, and then he kind of started realizing what the guy was doing, and he was like, "Whoa,
oh shit."
And predatory lending is a thing. Those dollar loan kind of places, and every once in a while, South Dakota has a good piece of legislation, and so I don't know, maybe 7 years ago, they outlawed that kind of.
Oh, good.
And have you ever seen? Do they have those in New York still?
Mm,
You used to see them in like storefronts, like Dollar Loan or Quick Loan or stuff like that.
I actually did one of those a long time ago.
Was the interest? What was the interest percentage? Do you
Dude, it
remember?
was fucking insane. Like, you basically
Like
end up
300?
paying like 3 or 4 times more than what your fucking loan was.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so that's what they did. They outlawed. I think it was like businesses that like go a certain percentage of interest, or you can't do that anymore. And one dude who had those all over the state and like had bought like a racetrack and a show venue and his own
Oh my
radio
God.
station,
No.
all based on this predatory lending shit. And then they outlawed it, and he just dis-a-fucking-peered. So did all that stuff.
Yeah, I bet.
But and what it means, if folks out there don't know, like these quick loan places, hey, I want $5,000 to like get me through a couple months, or pay this or pay that, so you get it. But then the interest you're paying them back is like 300%, 400%, who knows? And so that's why it's 100%. I didn't even mean to say 100% there, but waka waka. But anyways, it's predatory,
Yeah, it's gross.
Very gross. And so, but I will say that the deal this guy makes in the movie is worse. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. And the way he goes about it, too.
Yeah. I'm just going to like, what? Okay, so if you're going to start researching the devil, like, did he go to the library? Like, where did he get those books,
I don't know. I guess.
Like, in American movies, a lot of the time, though, you go to like an occult bookshop, and it's normally the actor Dick Miller working there. And you know who that is, right? He's in like every fucking movie in the 80s, right? So he wrote a book where he refers to himself as that guy. His book's called That Guy, Dick Miller. Because he's one of those actors. Yeah, I love that guy. Don't fucking clue who he is. I don't know, but I love that guy. Anyway, so in most movies here in the States, you need some weird info. You go to a weird bookstore, and Dick Miller probably helps you. And maybe that's what this guy did. Plus, you talk about countries with a much older culture than America. They still have like fucking temples and stuff, and they got like shamans and shit. So maybe he met and they get into some voodoo here. So maybe he knew like a voodoo priest,
Yeah. I don't know.
Just
but
like met him on the subway.
I like that they don't really delve too far into where he got it from, or why he went this route, or... I mean, we see the books, we see the little voodoo hair dolls.
Yeah. And that's it.
And that's basically it.
And that's all you need, because all you need to know, and they come upon, later in the movie, they come upon a string of voodoo dolls that have been made of every family member. It's like, oh shit. And no one even mentions the doll. Like, the dolls are never even talked about at all, but they're just used.
Now that we're talking about this movie, and it's a little bit fresher in my mind because I watched it last night. You watched it this morning.
Yeah.
They talk about how the dad has been going back to his villa. He's like been going back to this place. Right. So he's definitely the one that made all these dolls.
Yeah. So he did that. And what they kind of imply is that he was, once again, his life had gone wrong. Because once again, he was refusing to sacrifice his daughters, now plural, because he had another firstborn with a different woman. So he was trying to go back and do something else. That's what they kind of imply. But yeah, so there was voodoo dolls of everybody.
He's trying to outsmart the devil.
Yeah.
Because that witch had said, hey, you haven't paid your fucking debt. What the fuck? And he murders her.
Yeah. What an asshole.
He you think that's gonna get rid of this fucking this lady? Man, that scene was really, really cool.
Yeah.
He gets there and she's like, do you have what I asked for? He gives her hair and she smells it and she's like, this isn't what I asked for.
Right.
What the fuck? Then he stabs her in the chest. She grabs his scalp and rips off hair and skin. Oh, that looked really fucking gnarly.
Yeah, and I assume, because when we first meet, because this what Shandy's talking about right now, that's in a flashback we see later in the movie. When the movie begins, he's now sick and in bed in the hospital with all these gross boils.
And he stinks.
So is that how he gets him? Like when she scratches his head when she pulls his hair out.
She scratches his head, but then she grabs all that hair that she just ripped off. She eats it and says,
Right.
and says, you're done.
Yeah.
And everyone that's related to you is fucking done. Like, I'm taking everything that you have, including you now.
Bitch.
So, fuck off. How dare you stab me?
Yep. And then she's like, peace, a-hole.
Yeah, and then he buries her.
Yeah.
So that's why when they go to the villa. Well, what's really cool about this movie is that, like, the woman that he ends up marrying with the kids, that lady is also an asshole.
Yeah, she's an evil stepmother. Classic
She's
character.
also all about money.
Yep.
Because she, like, doesn't even want to visit the guy when he's in the hospital.
Right.
Which I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, he gave the house to Alfie and is like, okay, kids, let's go there and try to get anything that's worth value.
Yeah. Papers, documents, like she's looking for, like she doesn't give a shit. Jewelry, wills, pink slips, ownership of vehicles or whatever. So she wants anything,
Yeah, which is why we end up finding out that not only did he bury the concubine lady under the board, he's like boarded up the door to keep it there. Mm-hmm. And, when you get greedy, this is what happens. Yeah. This is what happens to you when you get greedy.
And you put those protective prayer flags on it.
Yeah.
You see a lot of, like when I lived in Portland, a lot of like, eye-rollable hipster kind of people had those kind of things. So that's what I recognize them, and I'm like, oh, cool. I'm finally seeing them in a movie where they're going to be used, because I could tell what they were, those little flags on the door.
Well, and also, what do we always say? When something's telling you to, like, don't open this.
Yeah.
Leave this locked.
Don't fucking open it.
What the fuck are you doing? But those people are so full of greed that they're like, fuck it, get it open. There's probably something down there that we can like hawk for money. Yeah.
Well, and it's the son, the main character Alfie, so it'd be her stepbrother Ruben, who's a nice dude, but the mom is like making him break the door open basically, because doesn't he even kind of like not want to at first? He's like, I don't know, but she's like, he's
the smart one. There's always a smart one.
Yeah, thank God. But yeah, so he opens it, and that's how shit gets. That's when shit turns real Sam Raimi in there. Because like the mom immediately gets possessed by whatever's in there, and it's very Evil Dead. It's very cabin.
When she was like, getting dragged and her fingernails were like, her
fingernails are scraping on the floor and on the wall and everything when she's trying to hold herself back from getting pulled downstairs by the demon thing. And they do a good job of showing like literally scratchy so hard it's making her fingers bleed. And I didn't write down what I was gonna say. I meant to, then I didn't. I was just like, why do they like the fingernail thing in movies? It just it's hard for me to like watch it just down to a nub.
Well, that just shows you how hard she's being pulled into that cellar. Awesome. That like her fucking nails are dragging. Oh,
yeah. It's like there's no reason to fight back. Like this is happening. So
it's a strong force is pulling her. Children, you're not going to be able to hold on to her.
Yeah, just let her go.
And I was like, oh no, what's going to happen? I'm like, shit. And then the movie does a good thing of like, the daughter Maya, who's not definitely great. Just like her mom.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, her phone. And she's looking down there. Holy shit. What's going to happen? And then fucking pandemonium happened.
Yeah,
holy shit.
Mom's basically a Deadite from Evil Dead. Very similar to that, where they get possessed and now they're all ugly and crazy. And what I love in this movie that Sam Raimi always does too, in the Evil Dead movies, is the Deadites, like when someone gets possessed by a demon or whatever, they don't have like magic. Well, she does have some magic power sort of, but like their main thing is just like, now I'm going to hit you a bunch. Like now I'm going to try and break your arm. You know what I mean? It's all very just like physical. Like I'm going to fight you now. And I love that, And so the mom's just like slapping everybody around, throwing up on him, which I think is too far.
Well, that poor girl Maya got thrown up on by her dad
In the hospital. Yeah, because he had some
and
sort
then
of freak
mom
out.
throws up on her.
Yes, she gets thrown up by both people.
But I feel it's very deserved after
she's
what
kind of an asshole.
happens in the movie.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is Ruben has a girlfriend, and so the girlfriend gets barfed on at the hospital by the dad too. But she's not with them at the house when everything starts happening. But of course, the mom's now like out and she's crazy, a monster, and she runs away. And they go finding her. They go trying to find her. And so in the meantime, he's like, I don't know why he chooses to call his girlfriend instead of the cops, but that's what he does. But dudes are stupid, thinking with their dicks.
Everybody's phone dies in this, and I wrote down, this is why I always have a charger on me.
Right. Or was it the signal problem? Because we talked about that with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, even if they had cell phones, they're way out in the middle of nowhere. And maybe
but
these
they
guys
show,
are too.
like, the actual battery dying.
Oh, they did?
When
Okay.
Ruben has Alfie's phone.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And that's when I wrote that comment for myself. I was like,
good point.
This is why you have to be prepared, because you never fucking know.
I have a charger in my bag. I have a charger at the office, a charger at home, charger in my daughter's room. You got to charge it up, motherfuckers. They're cheap.
Because they had power. It wasn't like...
Yeah, that's right. They had the lights on and everything, yeah.
I can understand if, like, the power was out and they had candles
and then your
lit.
phone dies. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
But, So he calls his girlfriend instead of the cops, which is, typical man. But anyway, so he tells his girlfriend, like, come here. But I loved this part of the conversation. He's trying to explain to his girlfriend what's going on, and he goes, Mom is possessed. And the girlfriend goes, what? How come? And I think that's such a funny fucking question. It's like, I don't know, because the devil's in her. Like, I don't know why. She's fucking possessed. She's trying to kill us. We hit her in the face with a hammer and didn't do anything. Come on.
I know, that conversation was weird.
Yeah, so funny. And, that was just a fun little thing. But, and the movie does feel serious at points, but it still knows how to have fun. And that's why, comparing it to Evil Dead again, it, to me, was very much like the Evil Dead remake from 2013, where a more serious tone, but still kind of crazy and having fun with it.
Yeah. Well, you know what I forgot to mention is when before the mom gets possessed and the door gets open, they have that effect of like the invisible whooshing of a spirit going by each of them. And then there's the cold breath.
Yeah.
That happens, which was really cool. And then it goes, it travels to the hospital where Dad is.
Oh,
and that really fucking cool scene of him getting killed with the hair wrapping around him.
Yeah. It comes up
first he tries to like pull the hair out
Yeah.
of his own mouth, and then the hair just starts like wrapping and pulling and choking. I was like, that's fucking dope. And it crushes his skull.
Yeah. God.
So cool.
I wonder when he made the deal in the beginning and she made him eat the hair, is that like her insurance policy basically? Like, you're going to eat this hair. That way, if you fuck me over, I can get at you through the hair that you've swallowed.
Well, the more that the hair gets involved with this, I don't want to say
the more
it
you
yet,
want to shave
it's
your
so
head?
funny.
You don't
I had an epiphany at the end of the movie.
Oh, okay.
Where I said, hair is the root of all evil.
Yeah, cha-cha-cha. And then you suddenly had a cigar for some reason. You said, good night, folks. But
that's what it
is.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
is that
totally.
Your hair is what is keeping you connected to all this bad shit happening to you. But we'll talk about that later, because we find kind of that out towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, for sure. But I wonder if Timo Tjahjanto, maybe he was like stoned or something, and that's like how this script idea came to him. It was like, the root of all evil. And then he started going with it. Could be.
I felt pretty smart when I
totally.
Had that thought.
That's a good like I said, it could be that he had that thought too. Because it like starts out as a funny joke, but then that is what the movie's about. So so the hair like comes out of his mouth and kills him and stuff, and it's
But I like how he tried to pull out the hair
Yeah.
that she had given him to, like, I guess break the spell.
Yeah, he knew
break
what
the
was
bond.
going on, right? He's like, oh,
Yeah.
God, it's that hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a good lesson from this movie is don't eat hair.
Don't let anyone make you eat hair either.
Yeah. And you'd think that's something people know not to do, but hey, you can buy frozen cookie dough that says cook before consuming. So, you know, people need to be told things.
And what I forgot to mention was that when the mom comes out possessed, she tells them fortune shall be paid with souls.
Yeah.
Which was such a cool line.
Yeah, it's a great line, and that's talk about them. Because I need your souls.
But I'm not going to kill y'all right away. I'm going to fucking torture everybody first.
Yeah, oh man. It's crazy. But the dad, that was the second note I actually wrote down, because the dad is also the actor. I looked him up. His name is Ray Sahedepi. And he is the villain from The Raid. He was like the head drug dealer dude.
What? Shit.
But I don't know the language, and I'm not mocking it when I say this, but there's a line he says in Indonesian in The Raid when he's on the microphone telling all the guys in the building to go kill the cops. And I don't know what the words are, but I just remember the sound of the language and the way he pronounces it is so great. He's like, the end of a sentence goes, badong, badong. And I'm like, it's so fucking evil the way he talks. So I was ready for him to be bad in this, and it never quite happens, but also, like we keep saying, though, he's definitely an asshole.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, he was a great villain. So,
did you also... I didn't think about this till towards the end. Well, when Nara goes, I saw what took Mom. Mm-hmm. And then the ends of her fingers have turned kind of decrepit.
Yeah.
And then I remembered, oh shit, Dad's hands look like that. Because when you first see Dad in the hospital, they kind of do a close-up of his hands and they look the same way. So I was like, oh, that was really cool.
Did she get those?
They did that.
When the demon attacks her in her room, is that when she got her hands red? Because I guess I don't remember when that happened.
That started happening after she said, I saw what took Mom.
So it was way before. Okay. Wow,
yeah.
Interesting.
Because then they're like, look at her. Like, look at her hands. We need to get help. We need to shit is fucked up. Like, we need to get the fuck out of here. And then
Alfie has also been scratched, and it's also infected. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then Mom bits Maya in the arm,
and then happens
takes
again to her.
Fucking chunk out of it.
It really does.
Shit.
It's like, yo. Ugh. Again, this guy made a very bloody action movie right around the same time, so I think this is one of those things learned. One was learned from the other, most likely, like how to do some good gore. So.
But man, can you imagine your mom fucking jumping on you looking like that and fucking taking a chunk out of your goddamn arm?
I can,
shit.
but only because that's how she would threaten us. Like, you go back to your room, or I'll turn into a ghost zombie and bite your fucking arm off. And I'm just like, weird threat, but okay, fine. But no, yeah, that'd be crazy. I mean, that's there are certain relationships that a horror movie. It's always good to see a horror movie that is willing to take certain relationships that we hold as precious and throw them under the bus. And a parent and child is a great one. And actually, let's go back to Texas Chainsaw for a second. So I was as you heard in that episode, right when we recorded that, I was about to be in a haunted mall. And, so I did that this past weekend. It was great, a lot of fun. But so where I am, I always I'm supposed to kind of stop up things so that they can reset the rooms ahead of me. So there's a guide that always works with me. And he kind of will be in the room right before me, kind of having a line and then letting people into my room a couple at a time, So we've become friends. We've been doing this together for a couple years now. And, I want to change it up. Next year, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should kill you instead of us working together. You bring the people into my room, but then I kill you. He's like, yeah, that's a good idea. How do we do that? And then I'm looking at it. I'm like, holy shit. He's like, what? I'm like, okay. I just got the fake leather face mask and the Texas chainsaw that I told him about. He's like, yeah. I said, have you seen the first movie? And he's like, yep. And I said, well, you're in a wheelchair. This guy Cody's in a wheelchair, right? And I was like, that's one of the best kills in the Texas Chainsaw, is Franklin in the wheelchair, right? And the guy's like, yeah. He's like, then we started talking about the movie a little bit because I'm always looking for a reason to just not talk about anything important, talk about movies. But and then when you and I have a reason to talk about movies, we talk about other stuff. But anyway,
what the hell?
well, I don't know. But anyway, so then we get talking about that, and like it'd be great to do that, but we don't know how to, because you have to do it over and over again, right? So how do you do that?
Right.
So, well, we have a year to figure it out, or 363 days, whatever. Anyways, but the point of that being that I'm getting to is like, and Cody's like, yeah, it's so crazy they do that. I've said, well, the reason it works so well, and the reason it would work in our haunted house, is because a person in a wheelchair is one of those things that they think like they're not good. They won't kill the guy in the wheelchair, And
That's
so when you
perfect.
do it, it's like, fuck. And so going back to the May the Devil Take You, yeah, you think like, parents and children is a precious thing. And we do see it subverted a lot in movies, but still, it's always, when it's done well, even if you've seen it a bunch, it's still creepy and still very disturbing, to see parents turn on their children.
Yeah, I mean, and even this mom, she jumps out the fucking glass door window.
Uh-huh.
She makes it to where they can't take the car.
Yeah, she fucks up the vehicle. Yeah.
She fucks everything up. And then when they went outside, when she was like, I'm going to take Maya, we need to go like to the next village. We need to go to the next village. I was like, you do remember that like possessed crazy moms out there, right?
Yeah.
And even Ruben is like, hello.
Yeah, they talk about it. She tells Ruben, like, we can't all go because we can't bring the little girl out there because mom's out there. So they know she's there, but it's like they're still going anyways.
But Ruben is smart and says we should all stick together,
Yeah.
which is like, listen to the smart one.
Yeah.
It's better to always stick together, because when you go off in like pairs or alone, that's when you get murdered in these films.
Gonna get picked off.
No.
But if they listened to him, it wouldn't have been entertaining. So
I know
I'm
that's
glad they
true,
didn't.
because then we find out that Alfie has kind of slightly been obsessed with this family.
Yeah.
Which then made me think for a minute that, is she the one going to the villa?
Right.
Is she the one that made the little voodoo dolls? Is because she's like crossed their faces out in this like
and it's
photo
like a little
album
journal.
thing that she has. So I was like, shit. That would be a cool storyline of like,
right.
She's like, they have the family that I never got to have
Right.
because my mom's dead. And then we keep getting those flashbacks of like her waking up in bed as a child and the mom getting like pulled down the stairs.
Yeah, out the window.
The same way these kids' mom got pulled down the fucking cellar.
Yeah. So they keep showing the flashback a little bit more and more every time. She keeps having these memories. And so it happened when they show the full one at the end. The mom, Alfie's mom, the mom that's been dead, not this newer shitty mom. Alfie's mom does not get pulled downstairs. She gets pulled out the window. And Alfie goes to grab her to help her. And the mom, hanging onto her arm, starts to scratch her. And the mom's like, let go of me, because she has the demon lady, the concubine, hanging onto her. So the concubine came for her and pulled her out. And I think it's, it could be because they opened the door.
Or do we think that the concubine was coming to collect and
totally.
mom
That's
tried
what
to
it
get
was.
involved?
There you go. That's what it was. Yeah, sure.
Is that what it was?
I'm sure that's what it was. Yeah, that's much
Okay.
simpler. That makes sense. Good idea. What I loved in the movie is that she has these 3 scratches on her arm. You see these 3 old scars, and they don't really explain it till the flashback much later, a good hour and a half later into the movie probably. But she keeps getting hurt on those same fucking 3 scars. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like this is all pulling out the pain of that, like both literally and psychologically, because when the dad has his little spasm in the hospital early on, he scratches her there. And then when the stepmom goes crazy, she scratches her there, and it keeps happening to the same fucking hand. It's the same place on the same arm. So I loved that. Okay, so you're talking about how Alfie has this journal that has like a lot of hateful stuff said about the family and their faces scratched out and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, and Maya thinks she's been like stalking them.
Yeah, so Maya finds it and thinks it means she's going to kill her. And then the brother sees it, Ruben sees it, and he's also like, what the fuck is the matter with you? And I wrote down, journals and diaries are where you're supposed to be able to put your fucked up thoughts. It's not just for private thoughts like, I have a crush. It's like also like, man, I wish I could kill so-and-so. I mean, I've written that down in a journal. You know what I mean? but not meaning, but not meaning for anyone to read it, and that's why other people are not supposed to read journals and diaries, right? Because there's a way of dealing with negative energy and bad thoughts called purging, and sometimes I learned this in a poetry class when I was a kid. Purge and burn means you write down your horrible shit and then burn it, but like even just keeping in a diary, and I have burned diary pages before, by the way, as an adult dealing with divorce and stuff.
Yeah, so have I, and
have
pictures too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, for sure.
I need to like let go of like this person and that relationship that hurt me, or I hurt that person or whatever, and I need to like move past that. And like, why am I holding on to these things? It's just like a way of releasing it and letting it go.
It's like when I broke my Bill Cosby CDs into a million pieces. Honestly, I mean, it's kind of a joke too, but that is what when I heard what he did, I was like, fuck him, But anyways, but yeah, so that's what she's doing. Still. Huh?
Fuck that hoe.
Yeah, exactly. But so that's what she was doing. And so it's so unfair that gets used against her. Right? Like, it's very
and she
unfair.
tries to explain it like,
and they don't listen
this is all that I have. Let me, it just because you don't understand it and you're making fucking assumptions. Mm-hmm. This is all that I have.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a family.
Yeah, all I have is my hatred for you.
Yeah,
that's what she says.
Let me have this.
Yeah, and she literally says that. When she says all I have is this, she's talking about the hate. She's like, all I have is the hate. Like, she doesn't, because, she's not with her dad. She's living alone. Her mom died. She doesn't get to be with these people. I'm presuming because the evil stepmom has always been a bitch to her, not just in this movie, So, and has never let her hang out with them,
She even says that to the dad on the deathbed. She's like, I should fucking hate you right now.
Yeah,
like,
but I don't.
I should have all this hate for you right now.
Right. And she
so
should.
Crazy.
The guy fucked up their... I mean, this is all his fault.
Yeah, he left her.
Well, but all the voodoo, all the shit, all the demons, it's all his fault, Yep. And she doesn't know that at that point in the movie.
No.
So maybe if she knew that later, she'd probably be like, okay, I do hate you because you ate my hair. But... or you let a lady eat my hair. You ate somebody else's hair. I don't know. But I'm mad at you for the hair eating. And it's the events it caused. But I thought that moment was very, very beautiful when she says that speech. Like, the hate is all I have. And that's why a little bit ago when you were saying, like, it made you think she was could have been the culprit the whole time. And that would have been a cool idea. And sure, but I was thinking right then, I'm like, I'm so glad that wasn't, though. Because then you just get instead of using that to, like, be something crazy, they use that diary as a moment to just make you like this girl even more. Because of what she's
really
been
rooting
through.
for her at that point.
I love this character. I think Alfie's that's one of the, there's so many great final girls, whatever you want to call them, but like there's tons of great ones. And I just went through a month watching horror movies, so I saw a bunch of them. But man, I really felt connected to this one. It was really cool, And a lot of it's because of that scene,
Yeah, and I mean, hey, we haven't talked about misogyny yet.
This episode
happens in this movie.
It sure does.
Fucking hell. And like literally when it happened, I went, God, can't fucking escape it.
Yeah.
Like,
you're talking about when a guy grabs her ass on the train. That's the first time we see her.
She's just standing there, minding her own fucking business. Mm-hmm. There's a fucking creep like trying to like row up on her butt. Mm-hmm. And she looks at him like, the fuck?
Yeah.
She pushes past him with her whole body, like, excuse me.
Yeah, shoves him.
When she should have said, excuse you.
Yeah.
And goes to sit down. And the look on his face
like,
is exactly what dudes do when you reject them. He looks pissed.
Mm-hmm. It's like, fuck you, man.
Even though he's the one doing something inappropriate.
Right. But
like, I'm on my way to go see my fucking dad in the hospital, and this motherfucker is feeling me up on the goddamn train.
Yeah, it's so fucking gross.
Fuck you.
But it happens. I mean, every time we talk about this, then you tell me when it happens. It's like, fuck. And I know this has happened to you because you've been riding a subway for 20 years. So, But, jeez, man, yeah. But he doesn't. So this asshole, this grabby hands, does have a little bit of comeuppance that he doesn't know about yet. Right?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, okay, so he tries to grab Alfie's butt, and he starts touching her. She's like, fuck you, and excuse me, and walks away. And then she pulls out a wallet, and it's his fucking wallet.
Oh, fuck, I totally missed that. What the fuck?
Did you not catch that? You just cut out probably because you yelled and I muted you. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Sorry. No,
that's okay.
I
That's okay.
Missed that. Holy shit.
Yeah, well, she pulls out a wallet, and there's that guy's face on an ID in there. And then she takes all the money out, shoves it in her pocket, and throws the wallet on the ground.
Why did I miss that? I
don't know, but for me, it was like, fucking, fuck the patriarchy, yeah, you know?
I must have been fucking with the cats or something, like, while I was watching it, but...
Don't fuck your cat. Well, don't fuck your cats at all, but don't fuck your cats when watching movies.
I totally missed that, and that makes... so much sense now to me.
Well, and obviously he should also get his dick cut off and thrown into the ocean. His body thrown into the ocean. You can also throw his dick in there, but separate him first. Anyways, what I'm saying is he should be treated even worse. But that is a nice little like, and she made that. Well, first of all, they established that's kind of a great character thing, right? Because she gets grabbed, so she makes this split-second decision. I'm going to grab this motherfucker's wallet. Right? So she does that. Then she's very good at it. All right? Nobody catches her, so she must be a good pickpocket. And then it makes sense because you find out she's been living by herself. Her mom got killed. Her dad won't talk to her. You know, so this is what she's been scraping by, you know?
Yeah.
And they pointed out later in the movie when she's like, I haven't eaten, you know?
Yeah. Damn. Why the fuck? See, I miss a lot of times. It's so crazy because, like, a lot of times I'll pick up on shit right away that's not obvious, but then I will miss the most obvious shit.
That's okay. Well, that's what I'm here for.
Thank gosh.
To be like, no, her mom didn't fall down the stairs, or no, she got the guy's wallet. Which, you know, is a little bit of like, yeah, fuck you.
There was someone possessed in this movie? Where? I totally missed it.
Wait, they're Indonesian? They weren't speaking English? I just thought they're being fancy.
Oh, God.
Whatever, it's all good. Yeah, but, okay, so Maya, so they've chased after, she's helping Maya, the hurt, kind of shitty daughter of the stepmother. Alfie's helped her through the woods. She's like, I know she's out there, but I gotta go get her some help, which is another great characteristic of this girl, right?
Yeah.
And then she drops her bag and to take out a hammer or something so they can fight this woman or the zombie mom, whatever. And that's when Maya sees the diary. She's like, oh my God, you're going to try and kill us, and like runs away from her. And so Alfie's like, shit. So Alfie heads back home. So Maya's all alone and then ends up getting attacked by the mom, obviously, you know?
Obviously.
And she like hits her in the head with a hammer, and the mom's against the tree, and then something happens that has happened in another movie. It was a different situation, but something happens that happened in another movie we talked about a couple episodes ago. Do you know what I'm talking about?
What are you talking about?
I wrote this in all caps on my notes. Another tongue movie. Because the mom's tongue gets really long and comes out.
Yeah, that was
just
cool.
like that lady's tongue and body melt. So, yeah, I was like, ah. But, so, and I was just saying how much I like the Alfie character, the main girl, and, the actress did a great job. But I tell you what, the best actress in this movie is the gal playing Maya, because this part is fucking crazy, and she really nailed it, I thought. Really
I was
heart-wrenching to watch.
Fuck. Like, because when Mom first gets possessed and Alfie hits her in the hammer and it gets lodged in her head, Mom fucking pulls it out.
Yeah.
So when you see Maya hitting her, you're like, fuck, she's going to have to hit her a lot.
And she does. With a flashlight.
Because she can pull it. Yeah, don't leave it lodged in her head because we've already seen she can pull it out.
Yeah.
It's just the look, of agony of like having to fucking murder your mom.
Yeah.
Who you can tell she's obviously close to because when she went down the cellar, she was like, no, fuck you. I'm Mom. Like, I'm going to go get her.
Yeah. And they're both kind of, she's like a Cruella de Vil in training, basically, to her mom.
Yeah. She's Mama's girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt really bad for her in that moment. I was like, That's fucking horrible. That's horrifying.
Yeah, it's a well-rounded character, because then from here, things never get better for Maya. But
I mean, and a lot of
great
horror films, especially zombie apocalypse films,
Yeah.
when you see someone's loved one has been bitten or is going to turn,
Yep.
and then that whole inner battle of, I can't do it. I can't murder my mom or my kid or my brother or my sister.
Yeah.
Even though if I know that if I
They're
don't,
gonna kill me. Yeah.
they're going to kill me or kill somebody else. And that's always that struggle. I always like seeing that struggle.
Great situation. And even though it's been memed a whole bunch, there's a moment on that TV show, The Walking Dead, when Rick has to shoot his wife, and he's just like sobbing and like keeling over, sobbing, then pulling his gun back up to shoot her. And
It's gut wrenching.
yeah,
man.
it's terrible.
Like,
And it was actually even worse in the comic. But still, it's like But yeah, that was just another one that popped in my head. But it's that's something you see even less of someone having to kill their parents.
especially bludgeoning them over and over and over and over again in the face
flashlight.
with a fucking hammer. Holy
No, she didn't
shit.
have the hammer anymore. She used a flashlight. She was using
that's
the flashlight.
right. That's right.
Which is even worse, because it's not even a hammer's not a weapon, but it's weapon-y. A flashlight is not
And you have
weapon-y.
to, and that's why she has to hit her so many
Yeah,
damn
it's
times.
a fucking flashlight. And it's big and metal, so I'm sure you could get some heft to it. I personally, you can turn, I said the hammer's more weapon-y than the flashlight, and I think you know what I mean, right? But
Yeah.
but you could turn anything into a weapon, right? Every once in a while, when I pick up like a bottle of water that you buy at the store, like Poland Spring or whatever, and it's like a big one of the liter ones, and it's full of water, and it's kind of got some heft to it. It's kind of solid. Every time I buy a bottle of water, I'm like, you could beat a guy to death with this. It's true. That's what I think about. Because what if you have to? I don't know what's going to happen when I walk out of this grocery store. I don't know what's going to happen inside this grocery store after I get this water, If the fucking, I don't know, if the incel army finally attacks, I'm going to have to fucking beat some ass. Then I got this Poland Springs.
I mean, it's hefty. It's got some weight to it.
That's what I'm saying. It feels, you got it. There's a heft in your hand that you're like, I could swing this into someone's teeth,
Yeah. Or throw it.
Yeah, throw it at their dick. Or in their stomach. Oh, this brings me to a quick anecdote. So last night was Halloween, by the way. We're recording this on November 1st, everybody. But so I took my daughter and her friends trick-or-treating, and I've done that for years, as they're growing up. But now they're teenagers, right? So it means, I grossly underestimated their ability to eat frozen pizza. And so I bought some for a quick dinner before we went trick-or-treating, and I'm like, oh, then I came home, and I was like, going to have some for dinner. I'm like, oh, it's gone.
Oh, my God.
Well, teens, man. I mean,
Don't even leave me some.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, holy shit. But it was great. Well, they did leave me some, but they're very nice kids too. But so my point is that teenagers, even the smart ones, these are all smart kids, but they when you're a teen, you say dumb shit. And this girl, they're kind of jammed in my van in the back, all sitting in the back. And this girl says, like, right now, she goes, that feeling when you get punched in the stomach? We're all like, yeah. She's like, right now, that's what my leg feels like. We were like, wait. Because I thought she was talking about getting the air knocked out of you, right? The wind knocked out of you. And I was like, I said, but hold on, there's not a lung in your leg. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I figured out later, I'm like, I think that girl, like, they left and I was just sitting here at home by myself and it randomly popped in my head. I'm like, oh, I think that kid meant her leg fell asleep. Because she was all
saying it feels like pins and needles in
totally.
my leg.
I think that's what it was. That's all she was trying to say. But she said, but everybody in the car, when she said, that feeling when you get punched in the stomach, everybody in the car said yes, because we were all thinking that feeling.
Yeah.
Getting the wind knocked out of you, And that's why I love these kids, because, there's like, I love it when people in general, but especially teens, are not obsessed with trying to seem cool or awesome or on it all the time. They're just, you can tell that they enjoyed our company and that they also feel good about themselves so they can be openly stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's an important thing to be like, I'm probably a dumbass, but I'm going to say this anyways because I know these people will be fine with it. You know?
It sounds like me when in my head, I know the thing to say, but then it comes out totally fucking wrong.
Oh yeah.
But I still believe what I said, even though it's wrong.
Like, I know what that girl said. Like, I get it, and I know why she said it. It's just so funny how it ended up, you know? But I get what she meant. And, you know, these kids, and they're all, like, you know, tall. And, well, you're a tall person, so I'm sure you went through this at their age, 13, 14 years old. These two girls are, like, tall, and they're, like, you know, but you're fucking clumsy as shit. Even when I was a teenager, I didn't grow, but, you know, clumsy. So you tall people. Yeah, development.
Early.
Yeah. And yeah, so they're like, and the two tall ones kept like running into each other when we were walking down the street. You know, just like fucking teens, man. But they're great. Yeah, but anyways, that's all to say. She's beating her mom with a flashlight, and it's very sad.
It's very, very fucking sad. But that allows her to let evil in.
Yep.
That act.
Mm-hmm.
Which
it becomes
really cool in a little bit.
Yeah. and so there's a few different evil things happening here, because you still got the concubine lady, who's a ghost demon kind of thing running around. And then you have whatever evil has possessed the mom, which is, like you said, the invisible thing that came out of the door, right? When they opened the door earlier. And so that is what we presume gets into Maya, even though we don't see Maya for a little bit after this point. So after Maya beats her mom to death with a flashlight, cuts to Ruben and Alfie first. And that's when they start finding out that they're reading the book now. And they start figuring out that the dad had done some crazy witchcraft shit.
Yeah, she's like, remember when I said there's like some weird books we need to look at and some weird pictures? Like, let's go look at all that shit.
Yeah. And then she faints. And I think it's because those memories of what really happened to her mom start coming back. That's kind of what they indicate, you know? She starts getting lightheaded as she remembers things.
I felt like the devil was kind of pulling her. Like,
like trying to stop her from figuring it out? Or
no, just like she's connected to that old lady because the old lady has her hair.
Right. Yep.
So she's like kind of pulling her life force like slowly is how I felt was happening.
Right. And
which causing her to like have those flashbacks and like, you know, that demon lady like starts turning into her mom.
Yeah.
And like being her mom like in front of the piano.
Because it knows about her mom because it killed her. Because it killed her mom. And that's a good point, though, because when she faints at this moment I was talking about, we don't see what happens, but she faints again a little bit later, and then she does get a flashback about how that's when she sees the flashback about her dad killing the concubine with her hair in her mouth and all that stuff. So, like, she's seeing, so I think you might be right, that's almost like the concubine showing her, like who she is, kind of, you know?
Yeah, look what your dad did.
Yeah.
This is why all this is happening. Is because you belong to the devil.
Yeah. And it's almost like those flashbacks to her mom are not being caused by them. Now that you mentioned that, we're talking about it, it's like maybe it's almost like the spirit of her mom or just her good memories of her mom. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good, because it's a good energy that's showing. It's good that she's finding out what really happened to her mom, right? So, A, so she knows she didn't kill herself. And then B, so she kind of understands this whole fucking situation a little better. And, you know, so maybe it's another kind of good energy helping her see, you know, giving her those memories back. And I thought maybe the mom was in this next situation because when she faints, then we go to the little girl in bed. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I went, oh, no, why are you sleeping? No.
Because you just saw Maya. Maya beats her mom to death and is shrieking. The other two kids, the young adults, are like indisposed because one of them fainted, the other one's helping her. And then you cut to the little girl in bed. I was like, oh, fucking shit.
I was like, why did they leave her all alone?
Yeah. And, you know, then she hears a creepy voice, Nara, come to me. And
Nara, I'm lonely.
Yeah, God. Gaslighting mom. A fucking gaslighting demon mom. You need to hang out with me, you know. This is about me. Parenting is about me. Anyways, but then there's another voice there that says, You damn demon. So I thought, was that the mom? Cool. But the mom wouldn't care about this kid. That's not her kid. Was it the dad? Like, was it something else?
So I think it was the demon doing the mom's voice.
Right. Well, at first, yes, I understand that part. But then so she's like, come with me, Nara. Like, yeah, that's a demon trying to sound like her mom. But then there's a second voice that goes like, you damn demon, or something like that. And then it stops for a second.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that was the demon or the devil.
Yeah, maybe it was the devil being like, leave her alone. I don't know. Yeah. But it was, either way, it's enough to make the girl get up and investigate. And I wrote this down. I think this was my first time being jump scared by a painting.
Dude, I jumped too.
Right? Because she goes to her little wardrobe thing, or, you know, her armoire, whatever, wardrobe in her room. She opens the door, and there's this painting of a woman there. And, like, the way it is when she opens it, it's like, oh, my God. And, like, oh, it's just a fucking painting. I was like, I've never been scared by a painting before.
Yeah, it was just the like really close up of it. Looked so fucking real. It got me. And then she opens it again and she's like, oh, it's just a fucking paint. Oh. Yeah, it was done so good.
It's just a painting, and Timmy and Shandi are cowards. But the thing attacks her. The mom demon thing is there, or the concubine demon is there, and it attacks her
under her bed. I had flashbacks to my own childhood because, you know, growing up, there's all those stories of there's something under your bed. There's a demon under your bed. Like, don't look under your bed in the dark. I really believed that.
Sure. Yeah.
When I was a kid. And so the way that I would go against what was ever under there, trying to scare me or take me, is I would make a fort of all of my stuffed animals and put them on the edge of the bed.
Hell yeah.
So that
like
nothing
a barricade
can come up and get me.
You were like, we're going to build the wall. Keep them out.
I built a wall of stuffed animals.
Yeah.
Somehow in my child's mind, the demons couldn't penetrate it.
No, that's great. I mean, that's how kids think. And that's why kids are cool. Because they have thoughts like that. You know, that's why I like kids better than people. Because kids are innocent and awesome and good people, that is why when a kid is threatened, it's always a little worse. And that's why Shandi and I both said, like, oh, fuck, when it came to, oh, no, something's going to happen to the girl. Because she's like, what, 9 maybe or 10, something like that?
She's a little kid. It's like using, like, children as bargaining chips is always bad. It's bad.
Yeah, totally.
No, I mean, you know, I got to the point where I was just really enjoying the movie and I stopped writing notes.
Yeah, I didn't like writing notes, which is great. I mean, this is if we haven't said it really yet, neither one of us had seen this before. This is a great movie.
Yeah, I will definitely watch it again.
Yeah, and you should watch his action films because I don't know if you like watching action stuff very much, but The Night Comes for Us is so fucking bloody. It is. You gotta watch it. It's crazy.
I'll watch it. I like it. I like action stuff. Well, I mean, Maya goes on a fucking spree of, like, she just killed her mom, and now she's, like, just found Ruben's girlfriend parked in her car outside.
Yeah, god damn.
Man.
And she does the thing to her, too. She hits her a whole bunch of times with the hammer. Now she has the hammer again. She has found the hammer.
Yeah, that scene, I was like, okay, is she going to be okay after this?
Well, and we didn't know what happened to Maya. After she kills her mom, it just cuts from her. You don't see her till now she's at the car with Ruben's girlfriend. And so there's a moment like, wait, is Maya fine now?
Yeah, but then you realize she's definitely not fine.
Well,
but
right.
In my head, I was just like, she's kind of like she's mentally snapped.
Yes, that's what I thought at first,
everything that's going on. And she doesn't like his girlfriend, right?
Right. And then one of the coolest fucking things in the movie happens, and it's very subtle. And so maybe you caught it, maybe you didn't. We'll talk about it in a second. But she walks into the house, and do you remember what happens right when she walks in?
Mm-mm.
With the thing sitting in the house? Oh, did you not catch this? Oh my god, it's
so
with
cool. With the tiger that moved?
A little bit later. But there's a thing that happens before that. The first thing you see. She walks into the house, and there's a little golden statue of a woman. And it's got a regular woman face, And then it's in the camera. You know, the camera's kind of on this dresser with this little golden statue of a woman. And then Maya's body enters, and it crosses the shot, crosses the frame. And as it crosses, the statue now has a fucking evil face.
Oh,
did you see that?
I caught it slightly.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so fucking awesome.
But it didn't register in my head.
Well, I rewound. Even though I was watching this, like, right up till the time we started recording. And so I was like, I want to rewind it. I don't want to be late, but I need to rewind that. I was like, holy fucking shit, that's awesome. And yeah. And then then she goes downstairs, and that's where she like she basically talks to the devil and becomes a disciple of the devil. As she's doing that, then what you mentioned, like the stuffed tiger upstairs and the other thing starts kind of animating a little bit and looking alive for a second.
Yeah, and then she just becomes like super fucking creepy. Like she puts on one of Alfie's mom's dresses.
Yeah.
She's like, I found this upstairs. And just her whole demeanor, she's not saying anything, and the two of them are freaking out.
Yeah.
And she's just sitting there super calm.
Yeah. That was a weird scene to me because, like, they have to know nothing. This girl has shown back up after being missing overnight. She's no longer sick because the reason they even took her into the woods because she was sick. And she's just sitting there, and they're just like, but they're also just sitting there, but also like, you know, I was thinking like, okay, well, what would I do in this situation? I guess I would maybe just sit there, right?
Well, maybe they just think she's in shock because sometimes when people are in shock, they act like that. Like,
yeah. Well,
their brains are broken.
Yeah. And I actually wrote down a little later, Ruben just can't fucking get the net about Maya. Because even way later, when it's very clear she's evil, he's like, Maya, stop being evil. It's like,
yeah, snap
she's
out
not
of it.
Maya. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, she just came back. They don't really know what's going on. Yeah, so it's probably something like that, too. But yeah, and they're like, they're just all sitting there in like the parlor, like the living room, right? They're all kind of sitting on couches, and Alfie's sitting next to her. She says something weird enough that Alfie gets up and walks over to her. The other people.
Yeah, and grabs Nara and is like,
yeah. Because when Maya made this pact with the demon, it basically offered her, you and your brother, meaning Ruben, can go, but we need Nara and we need Alfie. And of course, that's because they're, like we mentioned, they're the firstborn of this guy. So.
Yeah, and that's when she grabs the necklace of all the little voodoo dolls that Dad made.
Right. And as I said in the beginning of this, what's really bitching to me about the voodoo dolls is no one ever says doll. No one ever mentions voodoo. She just sees them, and they're sitting on this necklace out right by the altar where they summon the demons and shit. So you know it's involved with that. And any sort of, even a kid would probably understand, okay, those are voodoo dolls, right? And there's 5 of them, and there's a small one for the little kid, you know, so it's obvious what they are. And so she grabs them. And then when she uses them later, no one ever mentions it. It's all about, it's like they say for film, show, don't tell. So it's, you know what they are because she fucking uses them. Boy, oh boy, does she use them.
Oh, poor fucking Ruben, man.
Yeah, so, like, things get weirder and weirder. And so then he tries to get them to leave, right? And Ruben's like to Alfie and Nara, like, we got to get out of here. Or no, she wants to leave, and he doesn't want to leave anymore.
Yeah, no, she's like, we got to get the fuck out.
Yeah, and he thinks his girlfriend's still coming. And he thinks he can save Maya.
They never mention that again.
No, Maya says she killed her.
Does she say she killed her?
Yeah, she tells him, yeah. She says, I killed Mom, and I killed whatever the girlfriend's name is. She says it, yeah. And then
okay.
Right before she starts with the arm. Yeah. And, you know, I wrote down something about, like, characters being smart. Alfie is a little bit smarter than most horror movies. But when they're talking about the door being broken open, the door down to the downstairs where all the evil stuff was, they're talking about the door being broken open, and I wrote, Alfie's a little bit smarter than most horror movie heroines, but then she says, do you think he was trying to keep something there? It's like, yes! It's pretty obvious.
Why do you think all this is happening?
Yeah, but besides that, she's a very smart character. The brother is, well, as I said earlier, when he has an opportunity to call someone, he calls his fucking girlfriend instead of, like, an authority or anybody, you know, and it's like, he's thinking with his dick. I thought. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to like keep all this on the DL and not let the cops know about it. I don't know. But then when everything's shit's hitting the fan, granted, he does not know that his mom and girlfriend have been killed, but still, things are very, very strange. And he's like, I'm going to wait here for my girlfriend and see if I can get Maya to come with us. And Alfie's like, whatever, and trying to get out. But so she goes to the girlfriend's car and finds the girlfriend dead. But then they can't get the car to start or something, right?
Yeah.
And so they come back in. And while they're walking back in, this is when Ruben and Maya have a conversation upstairs.
Well, this is when he's trying to tell her, like snap out of it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't you.
Right. And then she says, like, who do you think this is? God damn. Again, this actress fucking destroys this role. It's so good.
Yeah,
because
she
it's
does.
so believable, and it's so like you still kind of. Well, the thing is even though I even wrote down like, God, this brother's so dumb, he doesn't get that Maya's possessed. Yes, but I still like the character so much that I'm hoping she can get out of it somehow. You know what I mean? Like, and that's because the actress does a good job.
Yeah, because she does go like, Ruben, and like kind of puts her head down, and you think that her eyes aren't going to be completely black, but they are. I was like, oh no, maybe she can snap out of it.
Yeah, for a second it seems like that. No, she's just trying to fuck with him. And so I just looked up the actress. Her name is Pavita Pierce. She is British Indonesian. And look, I think all sorts of people are beautiful, but in my experience, for some reason, mixed race people are just a little notch above when it comes to being pretty. I don't know. Have you thought that? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what it is, but it works. This girl's very beautiful, but I didn't even care about that. She's a great actress, I thought. And so I was just looking up if she's done much more. And she hasn't. Oh, she had breast cancer. Fuck.
Oh,
and she's still alive, but damn, that's too bad. But yeah, she's been in a number of films since. Actually, she's only been in a few movies since then, so. Oh, she was part of, they tried to do a Singapore Avengers thing where they had multiple movies that were going to lead into something, but they never finished them. And she played one of the superhero characters. Okay. But,
well, damn.
Yeah, she played Sri Asi, and there was Gundala, and then another one, but they never got it off the ground. Anyways, that's all I'll say. She's great. And yes, in this scene where she's like, we as the audience have pretty much figured out at this point, like, this girl's not going to turn back. She's done, you know. And
she's fully committed because she tells Ruben, she's like, hey, me and you can get out of this.
Yeah,
we can leave. We just got to give them up.
We just have to give these two girls to the devil. And you can tell she's in deep because she thinks that's a fine offer. And Ruben's like, no.
Well, I mean, it just goes back to, like, she's mama's girl.
Yeah.
She's an asshole.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Like, the devil's giving us a way to get what we want. We can escape from here. We just, gotta give up a little something.
All we gotta do is kill a young woman and a very young woman. Anyways, but Ruben, it's funny because, like, as dumb as he is about, like, come on, I can still save her. At least he never considers this offer. Every time she said, he's like, no. All we gotta do is kill our sister and our stepsister. He's like, no,
No, fuck that.
And she's like, okay, well. And then she takes out the voodoo doll.
Oh, gosh.
This is so fucking awesome.
I know.
Because we've all seen voodoo doll stuff before in films, especially horror movies, obviously. But I think my first experience was in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That's some good voodoo doll stuff. But so she takes the voodoo doll, this guy, and just starts twisting his left arm on the voodoo doll, and his arm starts fucking twisting, and it's horrible. And that's and finally, though, when his arm is magically twisting around and breaking itself, he's like, oh shit, this girl's evil.
Yeah, this isn't good.
So then he runs away, and as he's coming down the stairs, and the two other girls are coming back from the car not starting, and he's like, get out of here. And then something happens. This movie already had one thing I don't think I'd seen before with the hair. This next thing that happened, I don't think I've ever seen this happen in a movie before either.
No.
And it's like, why didn't anyone ever do this with a voodoo doll? I feel like I've never seen someone do this with a voodoo doll in a movie yet, you know?
I know, and it makes so much, like, not watching, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Tell the people what happens. I talked a lot.
So, You mean when she like snaps his, like pulls the head off?
Yeah, well, there you said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, because normally when you see voodoo dolls, you think of them as like a pin cushion.
Yeah, and so they're sticking little pins in and hurting.
Yeah, and it's like hitting like organs and things, but like actually like
We're talking body parts.
ripping limbs off and shit. Yeah, I'd never seen that. I'd never seen
Yeah. So
someone in
cool.
a horror movie just like rip
Right.
the head off and then like actually see the head
Yeah,
come
dude.
flying
Oh my God. So
fucking off in the background. And I like how they shot it because
yeah, you're just watching it.
they pull back to the girls like standing there watching poor fucking Ruben be annihilated.
Dude.
And there's just kind of like this, it's a little blurred. They kind of blurred it
Yes.
a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah,
which
yeah,
I thought
yeah.
was cool. And it's like his head going, wee into the air. I went,
it's crazy.
oh shit. And then she just fucking throws the little voodoo doll head like.
Yeah, fuck it. Well, this is useless now.
But then I was like, oh shit, she has voodoo dolls of the
Yeah.
other girls. Like, holy shit.
Everybody. Uh-oh. And what they also show a little bit later is that Ruben's doll has now fallen off of the chain, too, because he's fucking dead.
Yeah, he's done.
But what I like about the beheading, so she twists the head off. You're like, uh-oh. And before they show the shot you talked about, there's a side shot that's much closer to Ruben where you can really see it. And it's like his head is just going up. And it's like stretching
his neck is
and
like
you see
stretching.
his skin start to stretch. It's like, oh my God. And then
Yeah,
right
it
towards
was
the
cool.
end, then they cut to the shot you're talking about where the girls are watching, and we just see Ruben kind of in the far background, like you said, blurred, but it's still very clear. And the head just goes, shoots off. Oh my God! But yeah, that was one of those things. I'm like, this movie's great because, like I said,
Yeah, I
haven't
went.
seen that shit before. Oh, and when does the other? There's a third shit I haven't seen. Maybe I don't think I've seen this before. Thing, the face rip. Is that before this or after this? It's before this, isn't it? Doesn't she do it while she's talking to Ruben, where she rips her own fucking face off?
Oh, so this was, I think before they realized Maya was really possessed was when
Yeah.
Alfie walks into the room
yeah,
where the
yeah.
piano is, and it's her mom, and she's like, I know you're not real. I know this isn't real. And she's talking to her. Is that when that happens?
Yep. You're right.
Yeah, then she like gets all up in her face and rips the mom's face off, and then you realize it's the
Maya.
devil lady.
Oh, it's the devil lady under. Yeah.
So
It's so.
cool.
I was just. And the movie had been crazy up until that point, but that's like. I was like, oh, we're doing this now, you know, like pulling a face off of a face. Oh my God. Yeah, it was so awesome. So yeah, that's three things that in this movie that I'm like definitely have not seen that before. There's probably other things too, but like those three definitely, you know, when you watch a horror film, you like to see people buy the farm in a creative way, and this one was definitely doing that. So, and like the eating the hair again, what the fuck?
I don't know why it just made me think of Roger Rabbit.
Please,
When he's
it's like a
do
cartoon.
you remember when I killed your brother Eddie? And I took just
right?
and like his
face-
eyeballs pop
yeah.
out and shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good call. And there's a rubbery head kind of situation I feel like in that movie too, like people being pulled apart. But but you're right, it is similar to that. Good call.
You thought I was someone else.
Yeah, totally.
No.
So then Alfie passes out again. And this is when she sees like the thing we mentioned a lot earlier, where it's like this is when it gets revealed to her that the dad killed that concubine lady and that he totally sold out. And then he sold out his younger daughter Nara, and everything's fucked.
But it's great that she keeps passing out because she learns and figures out.
That's when she gets through these visions. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it helps her figure out how to beat this thing.
Yeah. Well, she's going to figure that out. She figures that out while she's awake. Because the thing is, she sees that, because it's the voodoo doll.
Yeah, but if she didn't see the hair,
The hair in the paper. Yeah.
she wouldn't have known to like reach down and get it out of this fucking concubine lady.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that part.
Yeah. So maybe it's like what you said, like mom is helping her.
Yeah, it's like angel power. I don't know. But you know what I mean? It seems to be a benevolent presence assisting her here. Mm-hmm. Unless it's just her brain kicking back in from being around all this stuff. I don't know. But Yeah, so when they show the flashback, the concubine eats the hair. She wraps it in like paper. And was she just doing that to make it easier to swallow? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or was there paper, or was there a thing on it? Was it important?
It just looked like a blank piece of paper, but it probably
Maybe it
does
was
help
some
you
of the
swallow
money.
it.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So, so that now we're kind of at here's the big to do, the ending, and so when she comes out of it, now Nara's like knocked out and hurt. It looks like, and she's down, and so Alfie goes downstairs to try and, like you said, she learned what to do, so she's going downstairs to start digging up the lady's body.
I thought that was a cool shot when she took the voodoo dolls and put them on the ground and like turned them. That was cool.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that part. Yeah, she after she pops her brother's head off, she uses them. But like that's right, she pops her brother's head off. Then she takes Alfie's doll and just like picks it up and drops it, and and then Alfie just falls over.
Yeah, well, she picks it up, drops it, and she does it a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she like flings it so that like, because she does it to Nara first, where she like takes her little doll, twists it, and flings it. So then she goes down in the cellar. And then does it to Alfie. And I was like, but she had to do a little something extra because she hates fucking Alfie.
Right, so she slapped her around a little bit. Really great voodoo use. This might be the best use of voodoo violence in a movie that I've seen. It's really good. And you know what? We should probably look into it, because I bet this being Indonesia and not Africa or Haiti or New Orleans, I bet they don't call it voodoo. I bet it's something else. You know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, so then they're all in the basement, and everybody's fucked up, and
yeah, 'cause she's like,
Alfie's going to try and dig up the body and get to the hair. And then Maya's, of course, going to stop her, because Maya, being powered by Satan or whatever, knows what she's trying to do. So she starts fucking with her limbs with the voodoo doll now. That's right. There's more voodoo violence.
Yeah, and I was like, man, she is really torturing. She's going to torture this girl. She's going to take her time with her.
Mm-hmm. She definitely intends to.
Mm-hmm. And then I like when Alfie realizes that she's wearing the voodoo dolls, and like it kind of clicks in her head. You see where it clicks in her head of like,
that's what
I got to grab that. I got to get, somehow I got to get her close enough to me to grab it.
And she says to herself, I know, insanity.
Yeah, she just starts laughing, and I was like, hell yeah.
I mean,
how do you get a possessed demon to get close enough to you? You act like you don't care what they're doing to you.
Yeah, because, there's always, especially with like the devil and demons and shit in movies, every movie, and in comics, whatever thing they're in, they're always very performative, right? They're always like, look how evil I'm being to you. And so if you act like, fuck, I don't care, they'll be like, what? You don't care about my evil? How dare you? And that's kind of what's happening here. She gets up in her face.
So smart, though.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, she knows, She gets it. This girl gets it.
And then Maya, when she realizes that she doesn't have it anymore, she's like, fuck.
And I was hoping for another head twist, but I like what happens.
Yeah, that was really cool. I was like, she's definitely going to throw it in the fire because it's the closest thing to her. Because, she doesn't have the tools that Maya has to be able to make the voodoo dolls do what they need to do.
Oh, you're probably right. Yeah.
So what can she do? Right. Throw it in the fucking fire.
Yeah, and instead of Maya starting on fire, she starts on fire from the inside, kind of, right? And
yeah, it's like she's the ember. She's like an ember of the starting of a fire, and she like slowly, she's like red. That was really neat.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah, because it was cool. She didn't just all of a sudden burst into flames.
Right.
She did like that's like you said, like slow build up,
slow burn, which this movie is not.
That was cool.
I thought this movie was going to be a slow burn. I thought it looked so artful and seemed so rather grounded for a little bit that I'm like, because I thought they started us out with the prologue with the lady eating the hair and all that shit. I'm like, okay, there's the crazy stuff. Now it's probably going to be normal for a while before we build up to more crazy. And that didn't happen. It just kept being crazy, which is great. I love that. But yeah, I mean, there's a little while there, but it's not a slow burn, I would say. But anyway, so then Maya's dead. Surely the movie's over, and But then Alfie's like, well, I got to do what I came down here to do.
Yeah, she fucking persevered through having a fucked up hand and a fucked up leg.
Yeah.
And she still manages to fucking dig shit up.
The hand is like, and they show it later, and it's, this girl's great. And love her. I hope she's in the next movie. I have no idea. But anyway, she is cool.
Yeah, because I accidentally watched the trailer for the
Oh yeah, that's right. Is the younger girl in it too, Nara? Is she a character?
Oh, I don't know, because I didn't know about her. So.
Oh, right. So you weren't really looking for her. Okay.
So she would probably be older in this one. So,
well, it was about a year and a half later, so she probably does look a little older. Anyways, but yeah, so she digs up the concubine body, and the searching for the hair is real gross. Because she starts this in the skeleton. It's like a skeleton corpse. It's still got guts and stuff, but the face is kind of skeletal.
He buried the lady with the knife still in her.
Yeah, that's right. What a fucking a-hole. Well, good thing you
Thank goodness,
yeah,
though.
You're right. Yeah. So she starts just trying to dig it out of his mouth. Oh, it's not in the mouth. Oh, she swallowed it. Oh. So then as Shandi said, the knife's there that the guy stabbed her, this lady with. So she grabs a knife and starts opening this gal up, and there's guts and stuff, and there's stuff still beating, it looked like, right? Didn't it look like some of that stuff was still moving, like the guts?
I didn't notice that.
Oh,
but,
I could be wrong.
I didn't notice some other things.
Oh, whatever. It's fine. But, but it's, maybe because there's magic. So I'm like, oh, maybe she's got magic guts. But, but she opens her up. Takes the hair out, throws that in the fire. And so surely the movie is over now.
No.
And she gets out of it, and then the fucking concubine lady has one more go and grabs her and pulls her back into the grave and wraps her hair around her a whole bunch.
Yeah, but there was the grave fell back into the ground, it fell a couple of feet.
Yes,
did you notice
that's
that?
right. Yes, it collapsed. As she grabs her and pulls her back down, so the corpse thing gets up and grabs her and pulls her back down. And as they slam against the ground, it pushes it down a few feet, just enough so that now she can't really get out. And
and then it all of a sudden starts raining in the basement?
Raining in the basement. That sounds like a good folk album, but... That's this week's t-shirt. That's this episode's t-shirt is just a black and white picture of me and you looking out the window with guitars.
But
and it, just says
it makes sense that it's raining because it makes it to where she can't get out.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. They're making mud. And
but in my mind I was like, just let the grave fill up with water and you can just float to the top. But then I was like, no, that's too easy. And also this isn't real rain. This is manufactured rain. This is devil rain.
Right. Devil rain.
Devil rain. It's not going to let her out of that grave.
Yeah. And then she sees she thinks it's her mother pulling her up.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh God, whose hand is this going to be?
Well, because that would make sense from what you've been saying of her mom being this guiding light.
Yeah, benevolent force. Yeah.
Right. Of being oh, mom's. But then I was like, how is that little kid pulling her out of this fucking grave?
Well, maybe the mom is giving her strength.
Giving her the strength?
Maybe she's possessed the little girl. I don't know. But it's one of those things, and we mentioned it in Pieces or something too, where it's most other countries' films are not quite as beholden to reality as Americans are. And so when there's a moment like this, they have an easier time letting go and letting it be the metaphor, letting it be the artful kind of thing. It doesn't matter if it quite physically doesn't make sense. What's important thematically? It's very important thematically that now these two sisters are helping each other, and the little one is helping her, and this girl is now accepting the family she has left, and she's kind of dealt with her. She now knows the truth about her mom, and so there's some psychological, emotional repair here that's being done by having the little girl get her out. So.
I mean, when you talked about how the corpse pulled her down and then it was raining, do we think they were trying to drown her because she was kind of held down by all that hair?
Yeah, she was starting to drown. Yeah, she was tied up by the hair. Yeah. And then she grabs that knife and starts to cut it out. And man, I just thought, I didn't know what was going to happen at this point.
Yeah,
so when
either.
she's cutting the hair ropes free, she cuts one around her neck. I'm like, oh God, she's got to stab herself. Because at first when she's all tied up with the hair and she grabs the knife, I'm like, oh, she's going to kill herself so she doesn't get taken to hell or whatever. I don't know. Like, that's what I thought was going to happen.
That could have been a thing of like, okay, my dad didn't pay the debt. What if I just pay the debt myself?
Right. Yeah. Good
like,
point.
Will that be enough?
Yeah, actually, that is kind of what I was thinking too. I'm like, is she just going to do it to end it or what?
Yeah.
But no, she cuts the ropes, and then she cuts the hair ropes around her waist or whatever, and then she starts cutting one by her neck. I was like, oh, she's going to accidentally cut her head off.
This is the moment when when I said out loud, hair is the root of all evil.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. And she's now finally cutting away the evil. But yeah, so the little girl pulls her out. And now, yes, the movie is over, right? Now they're like, well, that's just the two of them.
I was like, how are they going to explain all this?
Yeah, well, what are they going to do, But I suppose she's going to raise her, and maybe she can access some of the dad's fortune now, whatever was left, the estate or something, I don't know. But,
well, it's also a great way to end a movie and set it up for a sequel.
Yeah. You know what? The little girl could maybe inherit some of her mom's money if her mom had any money, because her mom was an actress or something.
Yeah, but the way her mom was acting about, like, we got to get, like, they had the silverware.
Yeah, she was broke.
Yeah, she was.
She was like a meth head. She's like, get all the metal, pull out the copper wires, we'll go sell them for pennies, Anyways. That's
this movie was really good. I'm so glad you suggested it. It was like a good way to end my evening last night because I had such a day that didn't go the way I planned it to go. And
yeah, your entire month was crazy.
Yeah, I'm always in the mood for like new music, new movies.
Hell yeah.
Always in the mood. Always makes me happy. I was sitting here like, thankfully my roommate wasn't home because like when like the head flew off, I went, whoa, like really loud. Or I'd be like, that's cool.
Yeah, no, there was some great stuff in this movie. Okay, so the actress who played Maya, the breast cancer thing was before this. So she got past that. It looks like she might be a stand-up comedian.
Oh!
But she just got married. Damn it. She got married like 2 weeks ago. God damn it.